In the depths of Norfolk lies Bressingham Steam Museum. Originally one man's collection, this quirky visitor attraction was once voted as Britain's most eccentric day out.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Bressingham Steam Museum and Gardens.
I think Bressingham is difficult to categorise. You know, there's museum, there's steam, there's fairground rides, there's space. It is what one bloke decided to go and get and go and have and go and do.
But how does an attraction rooted in the past keep pace with the modern world?
It can't be helped, I'm afraid. Every now and again we are going to cause a tailback.
Steam's dying out, so you've got to really think about this being an attraction of the future.
In this series, we go behind the scenes as staff and volunteers launch new events, restore exhibits, and work hard to keep the museum alive.
No. Oh, there's nothing we can't achieve. It just takes a little longer.
Over the course of a year, we get to know the characters behind the museum that help to make this place so unique.
We burn these like hell, Chris.
It's on fire!
We're not here because we have to be, we're here because we want to be.
The only way to keep going is with that volunteer support. We're only here because of passion.
This time, at the Steam Museum, events manager Phil and his team are getting ready for Halloween.
I don't think Stuart has the same passion that I do for making scarecrows.
John is working hard at the Fairground.
The business is getting harder now, but I'm a determined old boy.
A group of ghosts and ghouls head down to the woods ready to scare the public. And David is on guard duty on the museum's very own ghost train.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've decided to come on the last train. Oh dear.
It's autumn at the museum, and the staff and volunteers are preparing for Halloween.
Hi, it's Philip at Bressingham. Okay, can I get 35 large pumpkins, 65 medium, and 55 small? And would that be able to be delivered?
Phil came to Bressingham as part of his master's degree to get experience to be a curator, so curatorial stuff. As we're a small place, we couldn't just give him that, so gradually he became more and more involved in events. We don't have a very hierarchical, vertical structure at Bressingham. We're all on the ground, we're all doing stuff. So the fact that you can't find him for a day or two, you know he's somewhere. I will admit I don't always know exactly where it is or how long he's going to be there, but I know that if he needs help, he'll either have organised it or he'll shout for it.
With a small events budget, Phil and Stuart are finding a new use for some unwanted mannequins.
The museum has a Dad's Army display, and many years ago they had some probably shop mannequins dressed up in supposedly Home Guard uniforms, and they looked really, really bad. So I was fed up of seeing them because I found them quite embarrassing, and on TripAdvisor reviews were picking up on how poor they were, so I decided to take them off display, and they were put in a cupboard, and then we just thought it might be a good idea to use them for Halloween, so we wrapped them up in bandages to make them look like mummies or something like that, and it just adds to some more props around the track for Halloween.
I remember the mannequins well, yeah. It's kind of sad to see them go, but on the other hand, it's, you know, they didn't really look too much like the Dad's Army people. But The theory is that these buried bodies are coming back to life, and various bits are poking out the arms and the legs and the torsos, which look very strange when you've got two legs sticking up. You do wonder what's going on there. It is weird, but it's amusing. I found that quite good fun, to be honest.
So this year Stuart helped me a lot. He helped put things around the track, and he'll do anything for Bressingham. He'll spend all day on the gallopers or guarding. If we really need him to, he'll drive a steam train, so he's very versatile. He's a real asset to Bressingham.
Over in the carpenter shop, Brian has been asked to build some children's games, ready for Halloween.
All done by eye, all done by eye. Nice cushy colour that is.
So Brian is one of our duty engineer team, one of the workshop team, and quite often likes to do the more special events, the evening stuff. And because of his great freehand art and painting skills, I think because Phil is an arty chap as well, they explain themselves well to each other, and you just have to mention an idea of what it might be nice to have or might work, and suddenly the saws and the paints come out and something arrives in the office. Will this do? And suddenly you've got a completely random set of jokey gravestones or games for Halloween that Brian decided would be best if they had dual purpose. So it's Christmas on one side and Halloween on the other. It's just conversation, it's just people sort of bouncing ideas off each other.
Usually I sort of, could you paint this and could you paint that? And I go, okay, away we go. Or I say, that one could do a bit of more paint, or we've got to finish that one off first. There's always lots of things. Yeah, that'll be all right. Right, we'll wash the brush out, Dave. Kettle on. Time for dinner. Good news. Yeah, we've got to fix this door.
As well as games to entertain the public, at Halloween, volunteers look forward to scaring the visitors with their own unique take on a spooky ghost train ride. Down in the woods, and with most of the display complete, Phil can now add his finishing touches to the graveyard.
They do look quite creepy when you look up at them. Look like they could wake up at any minute. So it's a polystyrene head with frost protection sort of for the garden layered over the top, and we've just put some nails through to hold it in place in various places to try and keep the shape of the head intact. We have one or two volunteers that hang around the woods on the evening of the ghost train and make some noises as the train goes past, which is quite effective with the low lighting that's in here, because you can't see them appear until the very last second. I hear quite a few laughs from parents. I hear quite a few screams from little kids, and I hear families on their second trips looking out for certain things that they saw for the first time. So, or in anticipation of, they quite often get on the edge of their seat in anticipation of what might happen, even though they've already experienced it. So I think most people enjoy it. Right, let's go back.
As well as train rides, the Steam Museum also has a 1950s fairground, where John and his wife Maureen are hoping for a busy day.
We've got a good manager at the moment who's got his hand on the pulse, but from my point of view, being behind a paid gate, the business is getting a little bit harder now, and due to the way that we operate with plastic card system. There's less ready cash available to come, so people will come wanting to have a go but haven't brought any money with them. So yeah, times are changing. We found that on the fairgrounds as well. It's a dying way of life. Theme parks are the way forward now, you know, the big theme parks.
So John Benifer has been at Bressingham, I think, longer than me. He lives on site for the open season and owns the Dodgems and the Fairground rides that has been in various places on the site over the years. He knows Bressingham well. I think he would call it home. He prefers, I think, to live here than in his house by the sea. Comes from proper background of fairground travelling, and for Bressingham to have somebody who doesn't solely have their own interests but has the interests of the site as a whole, and, you know, able to shut that door when somebody's left it open, or to give me a ring at home as he does if an alarm's going off or he feels something isn't quite right. So he's part of the Bressingham family and certainly treats his own collection and assets just as he treats the rest of Bressingham.
When I travelled, we would only move 10 to 12 miles and the village was glad to see you. Now you jump in a car, travel 300 miles to one of the big parks for the day. So yeah, it's definitely a dying breed. I'm glad I was born when I was. Hold tight. I had 2 heart attacks, and then after the heart attacks I still kept working. It was just a stress-related heart attack, and then they discovered that I had a lung disease which was killing me. They gave me 10 years to live, which was 13 years ago. I lost one lung, the left one, and I have 3/4 of the right one, but I'm a determined old boy. Yeah, if I had to go and sit back in the yard and watch the TV, I think I'd be dead by the end of the week. It's the getting up in the morning, listening to the birds singing, that starts you off right anyway. And then as the day progressed, the little birds changed to whistles and steam, and then hopefully the public came in and a different change again. And then when the public go, we've got the magic back to all ourselves again. We lock the gate and we're living the dream. There we are, thank you very much. Thank you.
Every year, Phil, with help from the volunteers, decorates the site with scarecrows, ready for the event.
I love Phil's pumpkin men. I think they're a great idea. I'm envious of somebody who can draw so many faces on pumpkins with so many expressions. And the first couple of years he used to move them. I remember particularly being quite surprised by a sailor in the mist, by the gallopers, which wasn't there when I started looking up, and 20 minutes later was. So it's kind of the quirk that is Bressingham and goes with the gentle theme of Halloween fun, rather than trying to scare people witless.
In the exhibition hall, work continues on the 30 scarecrows that Phil has decided to make from scratch.
I don't think Stuart has the same passion that I do for making scarecrows, but I'm grateful of any help. I just have to tweak them once he's gone home. I don't think people really care about what these scarecrows look like, but I just don't want them to look really poorly made, so I like them to resemble a human shape, so it looks like some care's put into it.
With the bulk of the scarecrows made, it's time to transport them across the site and place them in their final positions.
He does get totally engrossed in it, you know, and trains can go by and Phil tends to ignore them. I must admit, if a train goes by, I tend to play up with them. You know, I'm going to hold a pumpkin in front of me or something. You know? And I think when we were doing the buried legs, I was holding legs up or something. I was doing some strange thing. It's all part of the entertainment, part of being a young old boy, I suppose. But no, it does get engrossed in it. And he is a stickler for detail. You know, he's very particular. He likes things to be exactly where they should be. So you know you're probably not hiding to nothing when he asks you to do something. You know you're going to get it in the wrong place, but you learn.
All right.
With the light fading, Stuart has asked Phil to help him finish building the museum's very own Abbey Road.
When we do the funny, what I would say funny and make you smile things like the Beatles, the Flintstones, the Dylan thing, because I've got a thing about Dylan, I think it's more that I enjoy that because it's my interest in the music. But if you ride the train and you'll go past these different sets, and it's quite surprising how few people recognise the Abbey Road sort of significance and iconic image, and people now recognise One Direction and Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift over Paul McCartney, Ringo, John and George.
Are they up there with like Andy Warhol? Everyone knows that. Well, I don't think an image like this is the same as Martin Luther King. Maybe not in the same league. In popular culture. Right, done. So, John, Ringo, Paul and George. The Beatles.
It's the morning of Halloween, and Brian is making everyone breakfast, cooked on the engine.
I should have put some oil over the top of them.
Steady, don't you fall in there.
Yes, when I'm here as duty engineer, it is a regular occurrence.
Yeah, we like to start the day off correctly. We'll have another one in a minute, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so better put a mushroom in there. I'll try a mushroom. Look at that.
Rob.
Mind how you walk.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Alex!
What's the matter? What the hell you done there?
That's a mushroom and bacon.
Mushroom and bacon roll.
Ooh. Is your second one?
Well, yeah, I think so. That's lovely, that. Look at that. Look.
Dan, do you want a mushroom and bacon roll?
Well, why not? I'll try and give it a go.
We're going to run out of rolls in a minute. There you go. Your warrant is now run out.
Thank you.
That's not bad, that.
With breakfast over, Alex and Taz can now finish preparing the engine.
Gwyneth and Sholto are the best ones here. Both over 100 years old now.
Yeah.
And they're living beasts, aren't they, really?
Yeah, they have a life of their own.
At the moment we are preparing George Sholto for our Halloween event, which is tonight on Halloween. It's the only event we do evening running with the engines. There are challenges to it. One of the big challenges obviously on a steam engine that people do forget is that you have to fire it, and when you fire it your night vision goes completely because you're looking into a red hot inferno, so you come out of that and you can't see a thing. So that's one of the biggest challenges, I suppose. I think you just got to keep your wits about you, really. Fortunately we don't do very fast speeds around here. So, you know, we tend to be okay and just sort of plod along, really.
They have people round the track trying to frighten the life out of the passengers and pumpkin people. Sometimes you have to understand the nuances, like the Beatles down there in pumpkin form. That's quite funny. Not convinced a lot of 5-year-olds quite understand that, but yeah. I think the whole industry is growing each year from what I understand. I think a lot more places are starting to cotton on, but I think because it's quite an American thing, I think we quite like it in this country, but it's always a bit awkward. I think we don't always know what to do, trick-or-treating and things like that. It's a bit socially awkward, so as a family I think they want to do something but they don't really know what to do, so if they can come to an organised event in a safe environment and feel like they've done something, you know, then they're happy.
Let's get that garden centre.
Be quiet.
One, two, three, four.
At the fairground, the dodgems are open and John is getting ready for tonight's event.
Rock and roll era, can't beat it, can ya? All ready to ride. For your safety, it's one way round and no bumping, press your pedal. It's not been too bad a week this week. The day's a bit slow, but hopefully tonight we'll be in with Halloween evening tonight. All the scary ghosts and ghouls, so hopefully that'll bring a few punters out. But in this line of work, you've got to take what comes when it comes. I operate the juvenile rides in the morning, and there's normally 4 of those, and then the Crazy Golf and the Penny Arcade will run itself through the day. My wife will look after some of the side stalls, and then I open the dodgems from 2 till 3, and then when the dodgems finish, I go back to the little rides for the rest of the afternoon. In the gold car, one way round, please. That way, that way. It's a chap I bought this track off of. He'd only had it a short time, but I've since become friends with the family that built this track in 1942, and the grandfather built it, and the son Gordon travelled it for over 40 years. And I do believe that his presence is on this track, because days when I need a bit of inspiration, I know he talks to me, you know, in a funny sort of way. When we restored this track, I had my family helping me, and we'd come to the end of the working day, and we were discussing what we were going to do the next day. There wasn't even any power connected to this track at that time, and one of the cars just decided to move on its own. We watched the steering wheel go round, and it just moved across the track and hit over in the far corner. And we all stood there and looked at each other, and there was 9 of us here at the time. So I'm never alone on this track. I've always got Gordon to keep me company. People laugh at you, but when you put this much time into something, it is part of you. And I hope when I'm not around, part of me will be in this track for somebody else.
There's not long to go before the doors open to the public, but there are still a few last-minute jobs that need to be completed.
I think not having the luxury of being able to shut Bressingham while we concentrate on one event and keep the place open during the day, we've kind of got down to an art form now of not doing everything at the last minute, but knowing what you can do at the last minute and what you needed to plan for. So sort of transforming Bressingham from what was happening in the day to what's going to happen in the evening. We do mostly achieve everything we set out to, and the great thing about the team is that if you know you're not going to, then you can just ask and grab somebody else, and we all sort of pull together for it to be done. But it does appear to look like a complete mess, and how is it ever going to be done? But it always pulls off, and you know, the classic, try to be graceful on the surface while your legs are paddling like Billy-O underneath, really.
What a shame. Got the gear. Right, just stick that in that hole there somewhere, right?
With time running out, Brian had to find a makeshift way to attach the severed hands to the hoopla stall.
Broom handles. So we started cutting the broom handle, and this is one of them. So we're now all walking around sweeping up with bad backs, and so half of the museum cleaners are walking around with bad backs because I had their broom handles as well. Boing, boing. Yeah, that's a lovely job. Proper job.
With the final preparations made, the Steam Museum is now ready for its evening visitors. Phil's part of the job is now complete, so it's over to the rest of the staff and volunteers to make sure everything goes to plan.
Yep, there you go. A couple of paws. Put my paws on.
You got to put a mask on, really, you know.
Hang on. Right. There you go.
You make me frightened.
We don't have a lot of arguments. Generally speaking, no, people are easy to get on with. It's fairly reasonably relaxed atmosphere. Halloween stuff and the sort of come from America, I suppose, in recent years and become more popular. So Halloween's relatively new, and when we first started, we done the sort of the scary bit down at the diamond with the train. We do have to be very careful about how we do that because it is in the dark, as you know. But it's a fairly small team, and nobody does anything on the track, so they must all be at the side of the track, clear of the train. It's different, yeah. Not everybody get paid for scaring people, is it?
We've got to put on a good performance, Ray. I hope you're on form today.
Rubbish. Yeah, I've got one. It's just why I'm not having a face put on tonight because I've got one in Tesco's late this afternoon.
Wouldn't be bad.
Got one like Chris's. Have you seen Chris's, that werewolf one? I've got one like that.
I'm not very good, really, but I like to.
I think the biggest surprise for Halloween is just how much the track gang and the drivers love to dress up. And I thought when we introduced Halloween into the calendar, it would be that's not very British, it's very American, it's not something we did in our childhood. And suddenly, you couldn't turn them away from whacking on the blood and the makeup and putting their false teeth in and their werewolf masks. And I'm really surprised at how they really enjoy that and will stand, for a few hours outside on the track crossings and the diamond crossing, and these days, they take their own barbecues and are cooking their own food out there in between the trains going past.
Wait, no. It's all right now. I'm just trying to keep hold of these so you don't get hold of them. You see what I mean? I don't want to be poisoned.
Come on, cut it.
Cut it full.
Is that a knife?
Yeah. Very expensive one.
I bet it is. I bet it is. If you bought
Look at your hands. Look at the state of
I
your
know,
hands.
but yeah. That's all got to be cooked.
Yeah, I know.
We burn these like hell, Chris.
Yeah, well, this is it. Oh, yeah. 47.
That's all right.
If we put them round the edge there, it might be a bit slow then.
I didn't really want to do this. I don't really want.
Raking is a complete boy at heart. Definitely loves playing tricks on people, and you can't always tell whether he's being serious. But at the same time, quite happy to be called in the middle of the night and come and turn the alarms off. And I think Halloween suits him because his boisterous and natural, bombastic character are suited to dressing up and becoming a menace.
And then what I'm going to do is do brushes along the side and shout. That's probably safer. Look at there, Chris. You bring the water. What's that? What are you doing?
With Ray's method to scare the public perfected, the doors are opened for the evening's visitors. Tonight, David is the guard, and on Halloween he provides a unique commentary for the evening.
If you'd like a ride on the ghost train, we're just about to start boarding now.
This evening I'm the guard on the ghost train, which is a little bit more than normal. I don't just see the people on the train and off the train safely, but it's my job to bring a bit of atmosphere with a bit of storytelling. They give me a microphone and that's it. Having been a Methodist minister, I'd go for the religious side of Halloween, but we don't go too religious. But you have to get history and thinking of the people of the past, the saints of the past, giving us All Hallows. And when I'm doing my talk, I've got to time it with where we are on the route. And we'll get the first one down at the old cemetery where there's one ghostly figure in chains will be staggering across towards the train, so you've got to have a story for that one. And then, of course, at the crossing, we'll say about how felons were buried or hung at crossroads so that they couldn't find their way back. They would be confused. And that's where they'll be, and they're trying to get on the train to try and get away from the crossroads, and the passengers are not to open the doors. I have had children burst into tears, and I felt awful. But then, the whole of this night as well is dealing with fear. The Halloween, you're dealing with the fears of uncertainty, the fear of the big things in life, the fear of death. And so that comes into it. But try and do it in a light-hearted manner, remembering that this is an evening of amusement as well.
I didn't do it last year, I was on holiday, but I think I did 2 or 3 before then. So this is probably my 3rd for sure, maybe my 4th. Just pause there. That wailing whistle will come at about 6 o'clock, 6:30, on the hour and on the half hour. So that gives me time then to prepare the mask down, the outfit pulled over properly, and then I can prepare and do what is expected of me, and I can perform then in the best atmosphere. If this was a stage, I'm on the stage. There's no other place where the railway runs through woods quite like this. This is an event when here in the dark, and I'm sitting effectively in a cemetery, I can't relax, can I? There's all sorts of things. There's owls, and that's lovely. Ooh, and there's the pheasants. They make a wretched noise. Plus, leaves fall from the trees. So there's all sorts of noises, and what I would say is we are here. The people on the train know that there's some ghoulish activity, and they are all comfortable together. I'm sitting here alone.
With the ghost train due to depart for another trip, the volunteers down in the woods, having had their barbecue, are ready for action.
This is the place to be on Halloween. Yeah, it's ideal for the kids. And they seem to be absolutely fearless, but it's the adults who are not quite paying attention to what's going on, so you can actually catch them and try to scare them. It's absolutely brilliant. It's going back to childhood, really. It's grown men being children. It's a lovely experience. But no, it's got a good reputation, and people too talk about it.
I'd call it a growl, but whether it is or not, I really don't know. I use the light to light up my face so I can see it better, and probably a bit more scarier than when it's dark and they won't be able to see it.
Ray King is a different person down here. Everything seems to change with him. He's one of the boys, and he loves the fire. He's no good at cooking sausages, but no, he's good fun. It's a good bunch of people.
Too hot.
Yeah, it is warm.
While Ray and the volunteers enjoy their bonfire, there is a problem back at the museum, which could stop the ghost train from running. The evening has reached its busiest time, and a problem has developed with one of the carriages. Brian has been called to see if he can resolve the issue.
Like that. Hang on. I've been grunting and groaning doing this, you know. The air pipe is old and that's basically cracked and sprung a leak through the oil and whatever was been on over years, and so we just replace it with a new one. That supplies air to the braking system on the train, and so we can activate the brakes, but if you leak the air, the brakes won't madly come on if you've got a broken pipe. There, we ought to just cut him off round about sort of, not my fingers, about there'll do. And then we'll charge the system up and see what happens. Start charging it up, please. Shall we do a brake check, gentlemen? Perfect. And job done. Ooh. Another successful repair. Ta-da!
Halloween is definitely a thing. When somebody as old as me was a child, it wasn't really anything that you did. Bonfire night was featured far more in our household. These days it's definitely the other way round. So it brings you a market of people who, even if they're enjoying Halloween and that's suiting exactly what they thought it was, they're seeing the collection and Bressingham at night. They're seeing it in a different way, and a lot of them are seeing it for the first time because they would never have come here as a day out because it just didn't spark their imagination or float their boat. So it's got a market who are specifically doing Halloween. So you hear people say, oh, yeah, definitely coming back during the summer, or this really wasn't what I imagined. There's just another hook.
Well, 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 ladies and gentlemen, you've decided to come on the last train. Oh dear.
As the final train of the evening departs the station, site manager Chris has one last opportunity to try and scare the public.
Right, we better get ready. On his way. Right, I'm now werewolf, okay? So be careful.
I do apologise to the people in the open coach. We've not lost too many tonight.
Thank you for travelling with us. Have a safe journey home. And mind the gap.
I think Halloween is popular because as an event it's something more and more people are going to, and I'm just happy to help with washing all the Halloween stuff afterwards and taking the straw out of the washing machine filters as we recover from the event, because all those things still happen afterwards. I think the secret and the skill that Phil has given us is prepare something once well and reuse it again, and therefore you can build on your event next year because you're not recreating the same thing every year.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, cheers.
I leave in about another hour, then we'll be open again for the Christmas run, and then 2 days off for Christmas, bit of turkey, and then head down back in the workshop for the rest of the winter.
I was wondering, now do I have a cup of coffee here or do I have a cup of tea at home? Isn't it marvellous when we've got such complex problems to deal with? But it's been a good night. Plenty of people, they've enjoyed themselves, you know, and you can live on that.